I'm making a quirky game about credit cards. You need to manage your debt and your coins as you try to make the best financial decisions. If it sounds interesting, I put the link in the description. Anyways, as I was testing it with some people, I realized that after a few games, it gets quite boring. This was because of three different things. First of all, there wasn't enough content, so after a few runs, you experienced everything. Second of all, it was too easy and the difficulty was too weird. For example, when you started playing, the game was way too easy, and then you got to a certain point where you couldn't play anymore. And that brings me to my third point, which is that it's like a survivor game. Which means that, apart from beating your own high score or someone else's, there's not really a point to keep playing. After a certain point, you gain everything. You don't gain more points, and there's not really like any points anyways. It's like how long you survive. This made me rethink the original goal of my game. It was supposed to be a strategy game, and I kind of got lost along the way. To fix all of these problems, I decided there was two ways to go from here. First of all, add more content to diversify the game, and second of all, review the content I made and delete anything if I need to. Adding content is the easy part. I can easily code in most ideas I get, but the problem is that I actually have to come up with these ideas. Following the last devslog progress, I decided to go in making different types of offers. For instance, I added a reversal offer that switched debt and coins every turn. I also added something that I think is really fun, card merging. And it's not hard-coded, meaning it's not these two cards merge together and make this other card I coded. It's these two cards merge together and make a third card that's like completely new that merges some of their mechanics, some of their companies, for example, and their effects as well. This is great since merging the two same cards can do different things on different runs. It adds a plethora of new content that I didn't really create. However, removing content is honestly way harder than adding content. I got the idea after I watched The Difficult Art of Subtractive Game Design by Mr. Elliptic, which I'll link in the description. The difficulty is that it's so hard because you don't know what you should delete, because it could affect different parts of the game in ways you don't intend, because some of the mechanics are really intertwined and you don't realize. For example, some things seem to be really useless, but then you realize how essential they are after you delete everything. Or the opposite, some things are like really coded in well, you have to remove a bunch of things, but it's for the better, and after deleting them, you realize how good it was. So the only real solution is you have to delete stuff. Obviously, as a disclaimer, I realize that not every game can achieve a lot of good things by deleting stuff. But I'm at an early point enough in development that I think it's okay, because I need to figure out what my game is anyways. I deleted all the bloat, kind of, that I could find. For example, all the item variations are now gone. The ice cream, the hot dog, the hammer, and the worker's boots are all gone, leaving only the pizza and the cone. I also removed all the more useless items, like the do amount item, which was like so useless. I should have removed way sooner. There were also a few cards that were either too good, like the Master Play, or not good enough, like the Key to Success. I also added the card disable mechanic, which is that cards, once you use them in a turn, they can't be used again. And that incentivizes you to have different cards for different effects. And since that's the case, I erased another mechanic which I had since the beginning, which is that depending on the company of your card or the color of your card, you can only buy items from that specific color. And I think that's a much better mechanic, because then you can choose which item you buy with which card, and it doesn't force you in any box, but you still have to make that decision based off the effect of the card, if that makes sense. However, I might keep the item color mechanic, since it might be useful and I have plans for the future. While all these changes make sense and probably make the game better, I still have a lot of work to do. I'm planning a big overhaul, and I'm thinking of changing the way the game is structured, but I'll talk more about it later. I'm saying it might not even be a roguelike anymore. Once I know exactly what I want to do, and which direction I want to go in, and I've coded everything. I'll update you guys with another devlog, maybe in a couple of weeks. As always, thanks for watching. If you're interested, you can find the game in the description. If there's anything you want to let me know about, write it in the comments of this video or on the itch.io page. Thank you for watching. See you next time.